Working on the Chevette today, getting ready to start on some exhaust work. Have to redo my steering shaft, modify it slightly because when I moved the column back, I turned a bracket around that moved it backwards about 1.5 inches. It shortened the shaft effectively and straightened it out. So now my manifold won't work that I'm using. This is just one of those block hugger headers. So trying to get this all straightened out because I got me a new piece in the mail today. Is this eBay GT45 turbo. So trying to get these manifolds all set up on here so we can get to working on the piping for this little guy. And hopefully I can get the steering shaft straightened out or it'll clear. Here's what we got so far. I made a new shaft for this upper part and I got rid of, I'm not going to use the hole I drilled in the shock mount. Got the nut for the Heins joint welded on right there. I got some grease in the threads because I'm going to weld it on solid, and then I'm going to brace it back to here to keep it from flexing, and then we'll put the other nut. The other nut will go back on the Heins joint and we'll still use that as a jam nut to keep it from turning. Okay, so that's what we got so far. Got that bracket welded on, the nuts welded on, and then I got the other nut on there to keep it from twisting. So now we'll try to put the shaft back together and see if it still fits and clears the exhaust. Got it put back together. Seems to be working. It's just barely touching right in here, which we can just tap on that header a little bit to smooth it out, but everything's working, steering good. So now we'll get ready to work on the piping for that turbo that we showed earlier. Get this, I got another header just like that we'll put on this side, and the plan is to go underneath and they'll meet somewhere in there and then come forward to the turbo. Got this thing up in the air today. I got my new headers on. They're ceramic coated block hugger headers. I had to dimple this one a little bit because it was a slightly different shape than the one that we made the steering fit around. So you can see it's pretty close in there, but passenger side it fits good. So now we're going to work on the piping for the crossover for the turbo. And what I want, we'll see if I can do it, is I want this pipe to come down, go under in front of the sump on the oil pan. Ooh, see if you can see. And then go up through here, and then I'm going to bring a 90 off of this one and it'll tie in with that, so I'll have one pipe going up to the turbo. Here's a little update so far. Got this pipe coming out of the manifold. Turn there, turn there. Turning one more time over here, and then now it's pointing up through here, which is right there. You can't really see because it's dark, but so for now I'm going to bring that pipe from here up to here somewhere. And we'll get working on this passenger side. Putting a 90 on this and just tying into wherever this pipe goes. And then I might run a piece of 3-inch up to the T4 flange for the turbo. Here's one of the pipes for the car. This is the driver's side going over to the passenger side. I just took it down and I used the plasma cutter to cut out this little little side piece here because I'm going to try to merge the two together. Here's what I got on the passenger side so far. It's just all tacked up in there. And that will have a piece that comes straight forward, and that'll go into the other piece, and I'm going to try to run a piece of 3" up to the front for the to go to the flange. Here is the pipe all finished up, or partially finished. I'll probably paint it and end up wrapping it with some heat wrap. But there's where it bolts on, and this is my collector, if you want to call it that, for the where the turbo will go. That'll have a piece of 3" pipe going onto that. That'll go up to the turbo. This is 2.5" pipe, just regular exhaust pipe. So we'll end up having to brace the turbo, but I've never done anything like this before, so I'm sure it's not perfect, but hopefully it'll work. And then we'll put it on the car and show you what it looks like. Here's the pipe on the car, bolted on both sides. I don't know, it looks all right for the first time doing this. It's pretty close up top. This is where it's going to come through with 3" pipe going out. Up to the turbo is going to be up there somewhere. Once I get the flange for that, then we'll start working on that. Here's the car. I got the turbo mounted. I don't have the supports for the turbo. It's just sitting there, so it's kind of wobbly. Got my 3" pipe, which you can't really see, coming up through there. See it a little bit there. We set the water pump back on it just to make sure we're going to have clearance for that. We're going to relocate the alternator. It'll probably go down in that area, or we'll move the coil and put it on this side, because that's all we're running on this car is an alternator. But got the turbo mounted. Still have to clock everything, but get a V-band for the back of it, and we'll have to run the exhaust up through here, and it probably come out the fender, or we might push it back down and go under the car with it. Haven't decided yet. I think it looks kind of cool in there.